Hey everybody, it's Black Spring here, and I'd like to welcome you back as always. And on today, I'm just taking you a little bit into a first town hall meeting with President Trump. And the particular meeting takes place in Scranton, PA, and I think it's pretty apropos to what appears to be the front runner for the Democrat Party, Joe Biden. I do believe that, of course, Joe Biden and perhaps the Democrats or the establishment, especially to Joe Biden's credit or his identity, that he's kind of coined himself as speaking for the Midwest, the steel worker. But this takes place in Scranton, PA. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone for being here on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Let's have a quick listen in, and then I will give you my thoughts, my tag, and I will bring it to a close. You will go with me.
Well, let's get back to our questions. Our next question is from David Hines. He's a Democrat who decided to vote for you in 2016. Good.
Mr. President, welcome back to Scranton.
Thank you.
Everyone supports protecting the environment, but the EPA seems too focused on complex regulations, fines, fees, and lawsuits. What can you do to lead the EPA to focus more on proactive compliance instead of punitive enforcement to protect the environment?
David, I love the question because our EPA is much different. We're very tough, but we get things done, and we're taking regulations off like nobody's ever seen. And I say very simply, I want to have the cleanest air on the planet. I want to have the most crystal clear, beautiful water on the planet. And our conditions now are much better than they were 3 years ago. But you know very well, David, because you're into the world of regulation, I think it was maybe one of the biggest things we've done. I've cut regulations more than any president, whether they are 8 years, 4 years, or in one case, quite a bit more than 8 years. I cut more than any other president in the history of our country, and I did it in less than 3 years. So it's a great question. The EPA this is why I was able to get the country going, because so many jobs were stopped by not only EPA, so many other agencies, where you'd have to go get 11 different permits for essentially the same thing. I opened up LNG plants in Louisiana where they were for years, for 10, 12, 14 years and longer, trying to get permits. They couldn't get permits. I got them built. A $10 billion plant in Louisiana, the Keystone XL pipeline. I gave it in my first week. I got approval. The Dakota Access Pipeline, I got the approval. 48,000 jobs. And frankly, it's more environmental. It's better than having the train going up and down tracks and you don't know what happens with the train. Plenty of bad things happen with those trains. Here you're underground, environmentally better. So I think it's a great question. One of the reasons the economy is so strong is because of what we did with regulations. If the other side, we'll call it the other side, affectionately got in, they would have made regulations much, much tougher.
We're gonna.
I want to ask I want to ask David actually a follow-up question, because you are really the typical voter. I think you are lifelong Democrat who crossed over and voted for President Trump in 2016 in areas like we are in right now in Luzerne and Lackawanna County. So, obviously now Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders, whoever it is going to try to get your vote back. So I'm curious, is there anything or any issue that they could answer for you that would change your mind, do you think?
I'm focused on the economy and on regulation and deregulation, and I like what's happened in the country in the last 4 years. And
Thank you.
I'm thankful for your efforts, sir, and I hope we can continue on that.
So the answer would be no. Nothing would change your mind. No, he's shaking his head. No, nothing.
I think they thought you were going to give them a different answer.
No, I wanted to hear, because I do think it's very...
That sounded like a setup question. No.
No.
David, you're my man.
I wanted... You know what? That's not true. I said I'm very interested in this voter, because we want to know how voters like you are going to vote next time around, because we love to follow the story of the movement of the electoral. And I think it's fascinating that you answered as you did.
Well, Martha,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you just had that particular excerpt that I just gave you. It's that particular excerpt actually speaks to, I've heard the president being coined as I've heard the term the art of the deal, or, I've even heard, I think, like a master troller. I mean, and I do believe that President Trump he's on to so many levels, so many steps ahead of the mainstream media, even Fox News. I mean, of course, you know, she basically frames this question as if, this particular Dave is this, the guest in the audience was asking, she framed it as he's a lifelong Democrat, as if that's, the loyalist, this has to be remarkable. Are you satisfied with the response that you received from President Trump? And, he basically said, I'm focused on the efforts, I'm focused on deregulation and regulations, and he seems very content and very satisfied with what President Trump and his administration is doing, and he's ready to go beyond that going forward. So, it was just like, like McCallum, and then she quickly got to her feet, as soon as President Trump said, I don't think that was the answer that they were looking for. And so, she pretty much, that was, and then she quickly jumped back in. No, I just want to know, that basically I'm just trying to figure out, the profile of the voter, and in fact, if you caught Dave's eyes, his eyes typically rolled when she said, you're a typical voter. And, that's pretty, I don't know if that's the kind of baseline that, I don't know if that's appealing to, to people at a town hall. You kind of, you're labeling voters. I've mentioned this before. There's a such thing called low voter IQ, and of course there's there's between the two parties on a bipartisan kind of, on a partisan level, you have voter suppression and then you have voter fraud. So I think that, if you put those kinds of, I do believe that the low voter IQ is voter suppression. And I do believe that this guy, he was well informed in EPA regulation and deregulation. And, he was looking to see, what's the vision for the next 4 years. So I found that to be pretty interesting. And I don't know, let me know what you think. Do you think that was a matter of a master trolling, or do you just think that the president is very much, he knows the full spectrum of what he's dealing with, and and he's basically, he just, he's found a point of, he's relaxed in it now. So it's like, it's, he's totally relaxed in this type of loyalty or framing, or the establishment media. Let me know what you think, and always, if you can hit the subscription bell for any updates or live streams that are to come, that would be very helpful. Helps with conservative voice suppression, as well as, I'd love to hear your comments, your concerns, as well as, just, if you can like, great. If you don't like, you can, let me know that too. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in for this segment of Black Spring with Autumn, and I look forward to seeing you guys again, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Take care.